Testing my mic. Can you all hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yes.
Awesome.
Amazing. I hope everyone is doing all right. Welcome to the All Hands meeting number 9. We'll start the presentation in 1 second. Who will be the first from the foundation to start with the slides?
Him, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm here.
And guys, this is the link for the Slido. We will use this one at the end of the meeting for any questions that you may have. Nico just shared the link in the chat, so feel free to use that one and ask any questions that you may have. So let's go to the general updates. So guys, who from the foundation is doing the general
It's,
updates?
it's Kim, but it got dropped. I think she was having trouble with audio. I
I'm
think you're back.
back.
Yeah, I
Yes.
hear you fine. Awesome. Go
Okay,
ahead.
great. Hi, everyone. Welcome. I know a lot of people are in World. We are at the Dow HQ over at 7018, I think is the spawn point. If you jump in and you need help finding it, just ping Dana Mostawanes and she'll help walk you around to where the screen is. Yes, 7018 is the coordinates. I see some people asking in the chat. But all right, let's jump into it. There's a lot to go over today and a lot of exciting stuff. So, one quick thing on general updates. We have a few open positions at the foundation, a senior Unity engineer, and then a content strategist and writer on my team. You could always find our open jobs at jobs.lever.co/Decentraland. So if you are interested in checking those out, be sure to head over and see like the full job description requirements, all of that good stuff. And moving on over to marketing updates. So, on the marketing side, we have had a lot going on. So, I'm going to go over this quickly and then we'll put this online as well so you all can follow. But the biggest thing is changing our positioning as a whole. Like, what is Decentraland and who is it for? I know I've mentioned this in our last All Hands, but just wanted to reiterate. Really thinking about how we can talk to people in everyday language because we know the problems Decentraland solves for a lot of people are everyday problems. They're not necessarily only blockchain related problems. So we don't have to have blockchain only language as we speak to people. So the most simple version is Decentraland is a social virtual world. If you want a little bit of a longer version, you could do Decentraland is a community driven virtual world where you can connect, explore, and create. This positioning we've been using for the past like 3 months, and we've definitely seen a big change in the types of people reacting to us, what people understanding it a lot quicker, which I think is just one of the main challenges that we tend to see in this space. So really excited to keep moving forward with this new type of language. So on the next slide, you'll see high level, the marketing plan since rollout has been number one, make sure Web3 fans know we made a change. There are so many people in this space that know about Decentraland, but may not know all of the work that has been going on over the past year or so. So we want to make sure that message is far and wide so people can come back and check it out and re-engage. And the second being finding those people who experience the 7 core problems Decentraland solves and target them with this new message. Those would be things like looking for cultural opportunities. Maybe they are lonely and they want to make new friends in a safe social space. So going through those and saying, okay, how can we target these individuals in ways where they are already showing up? I know there were some questions in the past about like why market now when there are still features to be added. So the reason we're starting now is you have to start at some point. And I think about the rule of 7 a lot. So those of you that may not be familiar with marketing, a potential customer needs to see or hear your marketing message at least 7 times before they consider taking an action or making a purchase. For us, downloading something new, we would consider as high of a barrier as like making a purchase. But the reason to do that is we know this tech is much stronger if we can have it as a download and it performs a lot better. So we need to make sure we get in front of people and show them what is possible inside and why they should download early. So getting in front of these people allow us to then retarget them again in the future with a retargeting campaign. So what's been happening here? We've continued to push our organic strategy. So that's all that work you've seen from Masta Waynes and the rest of the team, the general content that we do, all of the work Kaze and the rest of the support team do here on Discord. That's all our organic owned strategy, as well as our newsletter, which we have about 250,000 subscribers for. And that is continuing to get new subscribers every day. We get about 20 new a day. And then create a variety of ads for paid acquisition. So as of November, we started a pretty big paid acquisition campaign that we're really excited about. And so we did a waterfall effect where we started with one channel, had some learnings, added another channel, added another channel. We're now on across at least 5 channels. So we have Google search display, we've done some Instagram testing, we've done meta testing, we've done X testing. We did a ad in the Milk Road, the crypto newsletter. So we've been trying a lot of different stuff and then testing not only the messaging, but also the audiences, the geographies. Do people in certain countries tend to convert at a better rate than other countries? Do friends messages convert better than music messages? That's all the testing that is happening on the back end. And then we are quickly optimizing to get the most effective and efficient results so that as we use those dollars, we're using them in a smart way. So some results that we're happy to share with all of you. Improved awareness. We have had a 500% increase of daily visitors to DCL properties. That meaning specifically the website, the marketplace, the blog. So we are seeing a lot of interest in learning more about Decentraland and potentially downloading. And then in terms of that, that's not just Web3 people. We are seeing the new user percentage went up from 80% new users to 92. So continually excited to be able to share that message with a new audience. Some of the messaging that's really resonating the best is play games with friends online. So I think if you're social game builders, I think that's a really big opportunity to try to build something that feels social and fun with your friends. Find friends online. We have a lot more information to come about this. And then 3D avatars. We have some really great ads that show, you know, a Decentraland avatar spinning and all the different skins and wearables and emotes that you could buy in world to really create your own unique identity. And those have been performing really well. So we're excited to keep those going and iterating and optimizing in the future. So with all of that said, there have been, if you're in world, I've been stumbling upon new users every day. So let's think about what being a good community member means for all of us as these new people are coming in, but also as OGs are coming back into this space and we're all trying to grow together. Decentraland core values, just a quick snapshot of things I think we all value in this space is like being open, being collaborative. That sense of ownership is super important across the board. Being creative and then connecting with one another. So I think that's been great. And let's welcome all these new users and show them that DCL way. The last question I have here before we get into the fun stuff on the product side is different ways to get featured and get engagement in Decentraland on Decentraland accounts. So that could be our newsletter, our Instagram, X account, etc. There are forms. Dana, if you could drop them in the community meet channel, that would be great. This is all the information we need to be able to feature you on the accounts. Give us a poke through Discord or slide into the foundation account DMs. Ideally, do it through the foundation one, not the personal one, so things don't get lost and we can all pick up what's been coming through. We also have the social amplification channel in the DAO Discord as well. So just keep in mind that this is ways to get in touch. obviously, we love all the Decentraland tags on social. You all have been making such amazing content lately. I love seeing all of these new builds that you all have been doing. I've seen some build updates for the holidays. It's been awesome. And being able to see that, and we're sharing them internally as we see them. So the more you could tag us, the more we can make sure everyone is aware of everything you're doing. And lastly, I think this is an obvious, but just be good community members. Let's treat each other all with respect, kindness, be helpful. As new people come in, they want to know, is this a community I want to be a part of? So that's something we're all thinking about every day. And that's it on the marketing side. I know we're dropping the Slido in for any questions, and I will pass it over to Nico, I believe.
Thank you, Tim. Hello, everyone. It's Nico from the product team. And as usual, we'll be presenting all the latest updates from the previous 2 months, which was cycle 9, to where with me, Alvaro, and Nico will be presenting the things that they've been developing with the teams. And then as well, we'll be talking about the things that are coming next during January and February, during cycle 10 at the beginning of 2025. So this was a really interesting year with a lot of challenges, but also with a lot of new things coming, the new clients. So the team is really happy about all of the things that we've been coming out. We know that there's still a lot to do. We've listened to your comments, to your requests. We are focusing the team together with the new features on fixing the bugs. There's like a huge list that we are trying to tackle. We are tackling bugs every day and trying to fix as fast as possible. So thank you for your patience, and trust us that we are doing all we can to fix all these issues that are coming up. So regarding the cycle 9 and cycle 10 themes, if we can go to the next slide, please. On cycle 9, we've been working on map and discoverability, and now on cycle 10, we'll be bringing back the friends features. So these were two features that were really missing after we launched. We knew that it was hard to find new content with all the amazing things that are around in the world. So now we're going to release in the next couple of weeks. Some of these things are being released these days, and some others early in January. But we're going to be having like a new map that Alvaro will show you after this. But the idea is that we can solve some of the problems for discoverability. There's still things to do there, but this is the first iteration for the map and how to find new content in different ways. And on cycle 10, we'll be working on all the friends features that were also really, really needed to really connect socially. Most of us here, we already have friends inside Decentraland, but for new users, this is something really useful as well. So this is the focus for the cycle that we are starting in January. So let's check. We'll pass it to Alvaro. Let's check the new features that we will releasing in the Explorer and on the creator side as well by Nico. So passing it to you.
Hi, everybody. Stoyan, can you move forward then? Okay, so the first thing that we have implemented is the in-world camera. We bring them back. Lots of people have been requesting it, so but we give it a little bit of a twist. We have enabled the controls and what you can do with the photos that you take in the Decentraland. So better to show that directly. So if you move forward and play the video, if it plays. Okay, as always, you can, okay, as always, you can open the camera pressing Z or on the left sidebar button. As always, you can move with AWSD. We have implemented also R and F to go up and down. And we now have the possibility as well to turn the camera around. So you can use the Q and E keys to do that. We have greatly increased the distance on what you can take picture. It's like 50 meters away from the players. And also we have implemented zoom. So you can actually zoom in and zoom out and go to really crazy EFOV field of view. And you can have these kind of cinematic shots being taken with this. This is like the first iteration, and we think it vastly improves what you can do with the camera right now. As always, again, you can unlock the cursor while you are in this menu and interact with the UI. Of course, you can disable the UI by pressing U, so you can record your videos with OBS or whatever. And a really nice feature that we also implemented is the integration with the gamepad. So you can plug any PS5 or PS4 or Xbox controller and control the camera with that, which feels more natural, and it gives you much better control over what you can do. So if you want to create crazy cinematic things with this, it's gonna be really great. So yeah, I'm gonna be taking some pictures here and there. So I'm gonna show you the next thing. I'm gonna take a good one. Let's see. Okay. Cool. So yeah, from here you can close the camera or go to the camera reel. On the left side, you will have the camera reel button, or you can press K. There you will see that we have implemented a better scrolling system for all your pictures, because we intend to really increase the number of pictures that you can take, not only to 500, maybe 1,000. We need to see that number. But yeah, we have this context menu there, and you have a new functionality to set that as public. I will explain you that later, what that means. But as always, you can share on Twitter or copy links, download, etc. Let me try to remove one so you can see it. So you can easily delete these photos from there or set them as public. And as always, you can click on each one of those and see the viewport and go back and forth on your collection. And as we had in a previous iteration, because we thought it was a very good point to go back to the marketplace and see what people were wearing, you will see everybody that was on the picture and which items they were wearing at the time of the photo. Of course, this works as well with retrocompatibility, so you can go to any photo that you took in the past. But the nice thing is that if you go now to your profile, you will see a new section, photos, and you will see all the photos that you have been shared publicly. So that's something that we are not only doing on the profile, but that's as well on places and everywhere around. So that's why pictures being taken helps to discoverability of content all around the Decentraland. Go to the next slide, please. Oh. YouTube PowerPoint presentations is okay, so a nice feature that we also gonna be delivering is that we have implemented the Sky controller directly in the HUD. So you can define the time of day that it suits you better. And this is also very connected to the camera. So you can take the perfect shot, the perfect lighting, and the perfect time of day. And you can also go back to dynamic, which means that everybody gonna see the same time of day if you want to be connected with the rest of the players. So yeah, let me take a picture in this nice sunset. Next slide, please. On the map and discoverability, we wanted to find a way to not to bring a 2D interface to find content, but just to enhance what you can do with a map. So we have implemented category filters, better search results, and sorting the results, having some sort of Google Maps kind of approach, where you have pins placing all the different search results, and you have different layers to see information on top of the parcels. And we also have to try to improve the aesthetics and the user experience. Okay, so go next and try to play the video. First thing that you will see is that we now have new scans, new satellite renderings of the world, and now it's more orangey, I will say. It's no longer greenish. And yeah, we have an ocean there. So yeah, right now you can click on any place and you will see that we bring back all the functionality that was missing, like liking, disliking, adding to favorite, sharing on social media, or setting a place as home, which I think is not going to be delivered because we didn't have time to do that. And then we have the 3 different tabs for overview, photos, and events. So all the public photos from a specific place will be shared there, and all the events have been created. And you can also click on all, and it will show you all the places of Decentraland sorted by whatever you want to do, sorted by most active, best rated. Obviously, those results are paginated, so you're going to need to be moving back and forth. But you can visualize them as a pin in the map directly. You can also navigate through your favorites and through the different categories that we have available. And of course, as always, you will be able to do search directly by any keyword. We have created the foundation for layers. So if you click now here, you will see that we have different toggles and different layers there. So we have one for the point of interest, one for minigames, and a new one for live events. So if an event is happening right now, they will be automatically shown on the map directly. And you can go and add it to your calendar or jump in directly there. And of course, we have the 2 different views. We wanted to merge these 2 into one, but we haven't really found a better way to do that right now. So you still have the parcel view there. Okay, next slide, please. So yes, I just wanted to thank the people from Genesis City that we have been collaborating. Now we have new renders that use the new client, and that's where what we can see now the trees and all the green grass. Now it's with better lighting. It means that it's gonna be a little bit more schematic without not that much of the shadows. And we're using the static representation of the scenes, the LODs, in order to do that. So it's gonna be faster. That will allow us to do a little bit more of automation. So whenever you deploy a new scene, we can automatically generate the satellite rendering for those textures that need to be updated. It can be integrated into the building pipeline. So yeah, give the mic to Nico.
Hello, here's Nico. Hey everyone. So I'll be talking about some features that are specifically for making the life better for content creators. So some of these features have to do with the Creator Hub, which is our brand new desktop application for creating scenes. And some of these features have more to do with the SDK, so more with the code level of things, which is also, the backbone, the foundation for everything else that happens in Decentraland. So next slide, please. So first, I'll start with a pretty fun feature. This is about being able to create custom items. So for example, let's look at this bookshelf here. It's made of several items, but I just defined it as a custom item. And now I can just drag it into my scene and I have a copy of it. And this copy of it is independent. So like I can drag these books around and they are, 2 different instances of the same thing, but they are copies of one same template that I just defined. And I'm not just limited to creating, static things. I can also use smart items. So I can define my own smart items and make them custom items. So here I'm just adding one of these platforms and I'm going to just change one of its properties. I'm going to change its model. So I'm going to swap the model that it has by default. And I'm going to add this model of a chandelier kind of thing. And since this moves up and down, now this is a smart item that moves out to none. And I just defined it as a custom item of my own, and I can add more of these to my scene. But it doesn't end there. I can also add these custom items to any other of my scenes. So once I define these in one scene, I can open them in another scene. I can just as easily drag them in and use them in all of my scenes. So yeah, this is, and yeah, here you see in preview how this custom smart item that I did behaves. And all I did was swap the model, and it uses the behavior of another smart item. So this is to address something that is a pretty, common tool in most, game creation platforms. So in Unity, you have prefabs. In Godot, you have nodes. In everywhere, you have this equivalent to some easy way to create something that can be reused. And this is, a fundamental building block that should allow you to create things with a lot more power. Now, another cool thing about this is that these smart items that you define yourself, they can be shared. So for now, the sharing of these is pretty manual. In the future, we want to make this a lot easier, so that creators who want to build their own smart items can share them with everyone, and it's straightforward to implement them. And even in the future, we're thinking about at some point creating a whole marketplace for smart items. But in the meantime, like short term, this really helps us internally to build smart items. So in order to make this possible, we had to basically restructure how we create smart items from scratch. And it enabled us to create smart items which are a lot more powerful. So a few of the old smart items that we had in the old builder were not possible because of some limitations that we had before, which we don't have anymore. And also it's a lot faster and easier to create our own smart items. So expect to see some new smart items in the near future as well. So next slide, please. So this one is a bit more subtle. It's about a series of UX improvements that should make the usage of the Creator Hub a lot smoother. So play the video, please. So one has to do with moving up and down easily with a Q and E key. So before you had to accommodate the camera in an awkward way, as I'm doing there, which kind of feels like parallel parking a car. With Q and E, you can just move up and down in a much smoother way. Another thing is that now the free movement tool is the default tool whenever you select an item, which is a lot smoother and more dynamic. Also, when you select multiple items, now the gizmo, this marker, follows a lot more of a logical set of rules. It appears in the average position of all of the multiple selected items. Before it was in the position of the first one, which was awkward. Another nice thing is that when you select a field, it auto highlights the whole of the field. Another thing, as you saw just there, is that if I select multiple items and I change one of the transform fields, it's going to independently affect each one of the items that I had selected. So I can change the height or the rotation of multiple items all with one single action. That is like a really nice time saver in many cases. So all of these things are pretty subtle, but they really make the bread and butter of your work when you're using a tool like this. You might spend hours tweaking positions of things, and these tiny things they really affect your whole enjoyment of the experience. And yeah, expect to see a lot more of these improvements. We have a whole bunch of things that we would improve, and we'll be iteratively covering more and more of these. And by the way, if you have any feedback of anything that is, a major pain point or a pet peeve you have of something that you'd like to see improved, yeah, please let us know. We will keep that in mind as well. So yeah, let's move to the next slide, please. This is a bit more technical, but it addresses a very significant problem. So whenever you publish a scene to the Decentraland, there's a whole backend process that happens, which optimizes the scene so that it loads faster. And up until now, this backend process was pretty non-transparent. This is not something new. This is something that we used to do with the old web client as well. But the main thing is that when we moved over to the new desktop client, something changed about the behavior of how we use these optimizations, which made it a lot more visible and added a lot more friction. So you might have noticed that when you publish a new scene, suddenly the location where your scene was published becomes empty for like 15 minutes, maybe half an hour. And that was unexpected and quite annoying. And yeah, it wasn't great for the experience. So we are working on making that experience better one of these points has to do with showing feedback about the process. So whenever you're publishing a new scene, you will now see the steps that involve that publication, and yeah, this will give you more clarity about how the process is going and when it's finished. Another thing is that this post-processing is going to be a lot more smarter. Now it's not going to compress every single 3D model that you upload. If a model was uploaded before, it's not going to rework it. And another thing is that until this process is finished, we are no longer going to be showing an empty scene. That is a really bad experience for whoever visits. We're instead going to be showing the previous version of the scene until there is a finished new version to show. So that's going to reduce a lot of the friction of running into something that is empty while it's building the next version. So next slide, please. Now, the last one I want to share here is about having more control over texture. So this is something that has always been a limitation and a pretty, annoying one. So if, for example, let's look at the example I put in the upper section. You have this this tile texture, and you want to repeat this pattern over the floor over a number of times. Right now you can't. Right now you are only gonna be showing that pattern once, repeated over the entirety of the floor. And that is often not what you want to do, and it's really painful that you can't do that. So now we've added a couple of new properties to the textures, which will allow you to tile the texture and be able to repeat the texture as many times as you want, and also to offset the texture to shift it. Maybe you don't want it to start right in the corner. You want it to to start right in the middle, or you want to adjust it in different ways. And the more fun thing is that you can also do texture tweens. So basically you can do smooth movements of a texture over time. And these are perfectly performant with, the engine works very smoothly with these. And this can be useful for things like, for example, having a waterfall and simulating that the water is falling. Or, crazy effects like you're seeing here with the Batman logo, where the textures are either stretching or being shifted sideways or diagonal. And you can do all those kinds of crazy effects. So next slide, please. So most of the features that I mentioned just now are still not yet released, but will be released in the next couple of weeks, like in the first week of January, we're planning. So most, if not all of the work is already done. It's just a matter of, timing the publication when people are ready for it, and in case there's any bugs, we're ready to address them. And well, the improvements in the quality of life that I mentioned for the Creator Hub, those are already live, but the rest will be coming very soon. Now let's go into cycle 10. This is a cycle that will be starting right now. This is a cycle that will be going on from the start of January to mid-February. So I'm gonna again start talking about my features, which are the ones that have to do with content creators. Let's get into these. So the first thing that we're going to address is allowing you to preview wearables and emotes using the brand new client. So you might be frustrated by this if you've been creating wearables or emotes, that with the brand new engine, things look differently. Like shaders are different, and that greatly affects how your wearables look. And it's been limiting to not be able to know exactly how a wearable is going to look until it's published. So the idea is that as part of the creation flow of creating wearables or remotes, you'll be able to preview them with the brand new client and see them in action. And this also addresses another problem, which has to do with creating scenes. As you may know, it's possible to also trigger special emotes on the player that are part of the scene content. This is pretty useful. For example, if you want, say, the player to push a button and you want the player to animate to, extend their finger onto the button, or even to, I don't know, have a shooter and have a player die or take damage, or, fire a gun or something. All of these things can be, animations that are packed into the scene. We had a limitation with that, which is that these animations were not working in preview. So we want to address that so that when you are, developing your scene and previewing your scene, you also see those animations there. So next slide, please. The other thing we want to address is that currently can't test multiplayer locally with a new client. So you can open multiple tabs or multiple windows And each one of these windows today is not communicated with each other. So if you are using multiplayer features that are changing the content of the scene in ways that are supposed to be seen by the players, that works well with a published scene, but you won't be able to try it out with the unpublished scene when you try it out locally. And if you're trying to build a complex multiplayer game, you're often gonna want to do these kinds of tests a lot to make sure that things are shared in a way that is consistent and predictable. So yeah, this is a pretty important thing that we want to make possible for content creators. Next slide, please. Then we'll be doing a bunch more improvements to the Creator Hub. Like I mentioned before, there's a bunch of things that we have identified that I think we can do to make your lives a lot easier. One of these has to do with the flow for importing new 3D models. If you are a 3D artist, maybe this is one of the first things you try when you open up the Creator Hub. How do I import my own art? Right now, this is something that is possible, but the flow, it really needs some polishing and some better design. So right now in this image, I'm circling this little plus sign, which is what you need to click to add a new 3D model. And this could definitely be more obvious. It be more easy. Definitely could be easier to find. Okay, so next slide, please. The last thing I wanted to share with you is the party admin smart items. This is a really fun project that we're thinking to start working on. So the idea is this: when you create events in Decentraland, we want to allow you to be able to create, spontaneous and dynamic events. So, for example, if you look at the events that we've created from the foundation, for example, the music festival, it was great, but it was a very organized and rigid, structured event. So, like, we had a fixed timeline, and things happened at a specific time. And if we wanted to change anything about that, we need to like republish the scene to have some change in the schedule. The idea is to enable content creators to not have to do all of that. It's to enable content creators to have, just a spontaneous hangout with friends and, change the music whenever they want, or do a wearable airdrop spontaneously whenever it makes sense in the, evolving flow of your interaction with others right there. So the idea is this: we'll be adding a new smart item, which will allow you to add these features no code. And the smart item will let you list a number of users who will be admins in the scene. So now, whenever one of these admins enters the scene, they will see a special UI that only they can see, which allows them to interact with all of the things that are in the scene. And this involves, for example, switching the video URL, stopping the video, changing the volume, and things like that. Also, showing text messages on screen, but also more dynamic things. For example, being able to drop wearables. We want to also add new smart items that allow you to drop wearables and emotes. And more than that, you will also have full control over any smart item in the scene. So any smart item that has actions, those actions can be triggered by the admin whenever they want, and everyone will be seeing those actions being triggered. So with this, you can do a lot more than events. Like you could have, a whole game show where, the host, throws traps onto players' paths and things like that. You could have a whole, Dungeons and Dragons kind of experience where there's a dungeon master that, spawns things that have to do with the story up, on and off, whenever they make sense within the interactive story. So yeah, stay tuned. This is one of the things I'm more excited about this coming cycle. Next slide, please. I believe this is all for me. Yes. So I'll leave it on to Alvaro again.
Thank you, Nico. So yeah, cycle number 10 is going to be focused on friends and some chat improvements. So let's go next. This is long overdue. We needed to implement friends on the second version of the client, and this is actually an impediment for people from the web to the new Explorer. So we're going to try to bring it better in a better way. So there is a better connection between the players, the notifications, and the online status. So right now, for example, we're going to have different statuses depending if you are online or you are away or you are disconnected. And you will be notified whenever a close friend of yours actually connects. So you can go there or start a conversation. So yeah, that's what we want for the next cycle. But we also want to include the block other players that it was also long overdue, and an ability to display all the blocked players so you can unblock them if needed. Go to the next one, please. We also there is a bunch of things that were left out from the chat. We are actually preparing the ground from much bigger things in communications, but for now we're gonna tackle the biggest issues that are the infamous automatic scrolling everybody was complaining about, even myself. So yeah, we're gonna solve that to bring in the scroll automatically and the button to go down. And we're gonna have a new highlight for the unread messages. We're gonna be bringing back the copy and paste and the links, and showing the chat member list, implementing mentions. And if you see the design there is some hints of what is coming next. Maybe group conversation, obviously private conversations and stuff like that. So there is big plans for the chat, and we are preparing the ground for that. Yeah, so we are also improving the tutorial because apparently some people were having issues understanding or first-time user at that first-time user experience, understanding where the controls and how to move with the AWST key, moving the mouse, stuff like that. So we're gonna be improving the steps on the tutorial. We're gonna have a control overlays that is gonna be visible anytime inside the Explorer. We're gonna also make use of the new features that we have available in the SDKs to create a more consistent and cinematic experience whenever you talk with the NPCs to actually put the barrier high, to the standard higher, and also an ability to go back into the tutorial that it was never possible. It was like some sort of a one-time thing. So if you need to refresh the concepts there, you can go back to the tutorial. Next one, please. Yeah, with this, I wanted just to appreciate everybody that participated in the survey that we launched a month and a half ago, I think, regarding social. It was very productive for us, and it gives us a north on where we need to go next. So we are assembling the roadmap using those tools. So thank you very much for your collaboration. And I think that's Yemel, right?
That's correct. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. This has been an amazing year. Um, Before jumping into the strategy for the next year, I want to congrats all the team for the amazing work in the foundation have made. Also, the involvement on all of you, the community, in the early testing of the client, giving feedback, and also the patience. I know it has been hard making a change in the technology. Um, yeah, require a lot of effort from all sides. Creators changing their scene, creators seeing like they were all broken for a while. I mean, I just want to thank you for the patience. I know the product is not feature complete yet, but believe me that we are in a way better foundation for continue building for the next years. Um, yeah, the old client, the web version of the client, if you don't remember, it was published on 2020 and has been maintained till now. And it become a pain, really, like years of adding new features with an architecture that the team when first developed it they understand the complete implications of the technology, and it was clear that we needed a change, and I think we can see the results on how far we can render. Uh, but more of that, I think, is also the ownership that the team has on the code base, like the deep understanding of all the little details, and we are secure that this is the foundation for many years to come. So I think that that was the biggest achievement that we have this year, our biggest goal, super ambitious. Uh, but along the way, I know that we couldn't do many things. Like we wouldn't like include new features because we were building everything from scratch. We didn't focus that much in user acquisition because it was like bringing people to a client that we didn't see a right future. Um, so many of this is changing next year. I think 2025 should be the year we grow Decentraland. It's the year we activate our internal economy. We invest in bringing new people. We invest in our own community. And we are ready to do so. So the main thing for us in at Foundation to activate the decentralized economy. Um, so what do we need for an active economy? Basically, in our understanding, is having active users. We have seen this in the past. When we have a lot of active users, the marketplace is super active, and this is a pretty important point for the long-term vision of Decentraland. We need to have an active users. We need to have an active economy because that's the business model of the project. Like the Decentraland DAO controls a monopoly on the marketplace, even though the asset can be traded outside. Actually, most of the economic transactions happen in Decentraland marketplace, and the DAO captures a percentage of that volume, and that's the money the DAO should be reinvesting in growth. So we are taking some ownership of that part and looking forward to increase the number of active users and also incentivize the economy to bring those users. So this is the basic math. To have active users, you need to acquire users. That is like a technical term for bringing people in. And then you need to retain them. You need to keep them engaged. So we have a plan for both regarding user acquisition. We have set a big budget for next year, coming all of it from the Central Foundation. We'll be spending around $1.3 million in paid advertisement. As Kim was mentioning earlier, this project already started. We're testing different channels and continue improving, but we already secured the budget for next year. We also have set $1 million in budget for producing events in world, also to attend some in real world events. We won't be like really sponsoring real life world events. It's more like be present to do partnerships to connect with the industry to and try to bring new people based on being there and engage with some brands that has a following. And also with that budget, we plan to bring partners on board and continue expanding the reach of Decentraland to other audiences. That's in terms of budgets to bring people in. Regarding other things that we can do for acquisition, to distribute Decentraland in other game stores and places in which people can download Decentraland. We already have a listing in Epic Store. Looking forward to publish Decentraland there. Like if you search for it, you can already like add to the wish list and you will be notified when we publish it. We are pretty advanced. It's a matter of we want to finish this cycle and then publish, so expect Epic pretty soon. We have a list of other game stores we are engaging in, like the contracts and going through all the requirements. So looking forward to see more people downloading Decentraland from other places. I think meeting the people where they are is the way to go. The other important part, and I think this will be like a big undertaking for next year, is to lower the hardware requirements. That means like making sure that Decentraland can run on a toaster. 6 gigabytes of RAM is the memory that like a good cell phone has, also like mobile VR headsets had the same RAM memory. So yeah, we want to make the desktop version to run on every computer and at the same time getting prepared to go to mobile. I think it's something that we need to do before defining the interface and publishing, making sure that Decentraland runs everywhere. And well, finally, we are adding a new role in our product department. It's a user researcher. Um, the role of this person, other than being like following all the initiatives, making sure that the the way we communicate through to the user it's appropriate. It's also about understanding the audience of a new user, like how what are the frictions, how they I don't know, have a problem through the tutorial, doing qualitative interviews to new users. So that would be a new person in foundation working in getting insights on what are the most pressing pains from our users, in particular like new users, because we will be spending yeah more than $1 million in ads. Like if we also need to invest in making sure that the funnel is well optimized, right? So moving next, regarding user retention, we also have set some budgets. I will explain a little bit more about this, but like $500,000 in a content program that we will be running to incentivize the creation of content. We want to populate Decentraland, the Genesis City, with strategic content that we believe is worth checking and align with the event calendar. Also, we are setting aside a $250,000 for a community program. So we want to incentivize active communities. And also we are adding a new role, a developer relations role that will be the person to engage with you all, basically active builders in Decentraland. Uh, and this person will run the community program for help you out throughout the year. And also we want to centralize into this person or like advocate, community advocate to also bring like the what are the main priorities for this set of creators, like the community builders. So I think like we have tried before using Kani and having different ways to receive feedback. And I think like next year approach is having one person dedicated to just that. Here to you, talk with you, jump into your meetings, help you out economically, but also bringing to the table what are the most pressing things. And well, finally, we're setting also a budget of $2 million for incentivizing the marketplace. I will double click on this, but it involves active users receiving like kind of vouchers to spend in the marketplace. So that's ultimately mana that will go to the creators. So that's in terms of user retention, like having an incentive program that can help across the board. I think it's pretty important for new users to come and find a vibrant Decentraland. And lastly, the product will continue evolving. On the Explorer, will focus on social features, continue expanding on friends and how you interact with them. We want to build like formalized communities inside Decentraland. Want to make Decentraland a product that you can use to have meetings, to have these all hands, to engage in like productive work or education. And also we're interested in tournaments like or games that you can play with your friends. Second part also regarding the activating the economy is to enabling new type of digital assets to be created and sold online. With the long request pets, also vehicles to move around the Decentraland. And social emotes are the ones we have in our mind coming next year. Regarding the creator tools, as you have seen today, that's an ever-going project. We're looking forward to include better world interaction, so your avatar can go and grab stuff and pull levers and climb. So that make it more nice, the interaction between the avatar and the scene. That's important. Also bringing some magic like fog, stars, fire. That's like different kinds of particle systems, and of course physics. I think that those are important things to be included to make the scenes in Decentraland and the content in Decentraland way more engaging. Overall, that's our strategy for retaining users, bringing some rewards for the across the board to incentivize to having a lot of content. I think that's most on your side. We want to help you out, but we depend on you for building most of the content and continue improving the product. So let's double click. Let's go to the next slide. Thank you. So regarding this, the rewards program, the way we are thinking it is like thinking in different actors in the space, like a scene creator. Like if you're in a studio, we want to at least provide a steady work stream, like at least small scenes coming from this content program. Um, at least foundation will be like outsourcing a lot of work, and I think like if you're a creator, you should be able to tap into that program. For community builders, we want to ensure that we are taking care of you. Like the most active communities should have some sort of reward, compensation. I think the DAO used to have that role through the grants, but this is not the case anymore. So I want to be there to support you. And actually, yeah, that's a really important role in Decentraland overall. And finally, as I was saying, creating this marketplace program. Basically, what we're thinking is um, as an active user, while they are playing Decentraland, they will receive badges based on like the activity, and we're looking to attach these marketplace coupons, vouchers, value in mana, but they can only be spent in the marketplace. So a user that is active in Decentraland, the more you play, the more mana you receive to invest in your digital identity. And I think that's a nice thing. And also that money is going to the wearable creator. So it's a bigger incentive for you to create and publish in the marketplace if you know for sure that on the other side there are many users with mana willing to spend on your creations. So that's pretty much the plan. I'm really excited about what's happening with the DAO. I know the open call for the council has started a few days ago. So look, following closely that process. We don't want to press it or push it or like we're letting things be. But I totally support that initiative. I look forward to at some point during next year have a more formal organization of the DAO so we can collaborate in more stuff. I believe ultimately this rewards program should be run by the DAO because it's the DAO the one who collects the fees from the marketplace. But I think that this is a really important year. We have a nice situation with the current market, so we want to be ready the sooner possible. So that's why we're setting aside some budget to do it this year. If the DAO finally organize themselves and approves the budget, super willing to collaborate on which of these should be run by foundation or should be run by an operational company. I think later on the year we can decide. But we are committing to execute this. Happens the DAO organize itself or not, will be doing it anyways. And finally, like some things to expect in the next year. So I think early next year we should be reaching the maturity in the product. Like that's to be feature complete and also fixing all the bugs and polishing. We're doing both. building features and fixing bugs. Uh, yeah, that's the priority for the early next year. We'll be focusing more on KPIs and really optimizing the acquisition funnel, like spending a lot of money in acquisition, but like being a leaky bucket or having a bad landing or missing on an error on the tutorial is like a highly cost bug. So that's also a priority for us. Also, looking forward to see the sunset of the web client sometime next year, probably in Q2. For us, it's important because we can reduce some infrastructure cost and also reduce the surface area, like support, engineers, like so. I think that's something that it's going to happen. We know that there are so many things that are still missing on the new version. So giving it some time, patience. Also, looking forward to have these meetings in Decentraland. I know it's being streamed, but I would love to bring all these meetings, kind of spaces or Discord, like having a stage who can speak, request for the mic. Those things should be part of Decentraland. We should be having this conversation there. So looking forward to having next year. And for us, like nailing this growth engine on how we have the cheapest channel that brings us active users and like funnel most of the money there. That's our search. Looking forward to have at least a 5x growth in monthly active users, hopefully more. But I think that's a target we can achieve. And as I mentioned earlier, getting ready to build a mobile version of Decentraland, part of the engineering efforts. Yeah, first making sure that Decentraland runs on a toaster and a low-end machine. That's the early step. Next step is beginning mobile or other devices. And I think that's it. I think maybe we can jump to the questions.
Amazing updates. Yeah, just give me 1 second. So we have 18 questions. Let me just start from the first one, who has the most votes. Foundation actions are breaking in-world content, community bonds, and livelihoods. How is this going to be addressed, if at all? Is the first question.
Yeah. So as I was mentioning, like we're adding a user researcher and a developer relations person. The opening for the DevRel will be published in January. So two people dedicated to be in contact with our users and being like responsible to hear them and making it to a priority, at least level up our efforts to do so. I think that's the most concrete initiative I can mention. Regarding like our actions breaking stuff, I think part of moving forward, and I know some things will break, but I think this is the cost of evolving and bringing a new version of Decentraland. Like the day we don't have any bugs is the day we stop shipping code, and I think we still have many years of that. So sorry for the inconvenience.
May I add something on top of that? Sorry, Kase. Seconding what Yemel was saying, we know we have a long list of bugs. So personally, one of my primary focus for early next year and throughout the year as well is when with these new two persons on the research side and the relations, I will personally also involved in those conversations. So my goal next year is to get together with most of the people here, the core builders, the people that we all know each other, some of us even personally, to really understand where the biggest issues that you're having right now, so we are able to really understand them and prioritize them. So we have the team and the time planned already for all the cycles to come to tackle bugs all the time. This is an iterative process and it will take some time, but this is my primary focus for next year. I also wanted to say sorry, a sincere apology for that and for the issues. I know it's been tough in many times. I remember a few weeks ago the issue with the screens when you turn around, the streaming stopped. So we feel that we saw that we tried to fix it as fast as possible. Now that's out of the way. So we are constantly trying to tackle this. And yeah, I'm really sorry that we're not perfect on that yet. But yeah, I will. I'm really looking forward to talk with all of you personally and try to fix all the things that are really bothering you every day.
Thank you, Nico. The next one, what is the ETA for fixing all the broken scenes since the new client release?
I think, as Nico was mentioning, it's an ongoing thing. Um, Super hard to provide an ETA for fixing all bugs. We have people we divide our engineers in people who is working in a particular initiative and people who is fixing bugs. So we have tough people for both roles. So it's an ongoing process. Hopefully, early next year we are way better than now.
Alrighty, chapter 4 of the white paper, of the new white paper is talking about IP owned products of the Decentraland Foundation. Why is there so little about the Decentraland protocol owned by the DAO community?
The For those who didn't read it, the the white paper is published on the documentation on the player section, and the chapter 4 regards the road ahead. It talks about how we plan to enhance the in-world experience, our creator tools, improvements in the marketplace, accessibility, and lastly, governance structure of the DAO. I think the only point that is really about the DAO is the governance structure. Um, it would be great to have like a collaboration with the DAO on like the protocol in particular. I think those conversations we're having with adding more features to the creator tools. For example, we have many discussions about how to implement dynamic lighting, how to modify GLTFs, and that has been like back and forth communications with the protocol squad. And I think we will continue step by step on like, defining those new components for the protocol. Um, so we are advancing and investing in the protocol development and also collaborating with the protocol squad in that effort. Um, we haven't collaborated on a master plan for future years. Hopefully, if the DAO uh, change their structure and invest in the development of the protocol, super willing to provide a new version, a 2.1 or white paper 3, uh, created alongside with the DAO.
Amazing. If the foundation upgrades have broken scenes, when scenes were supposed to be running forever, shouldn't the foundation be funding the migration to SDK 7?
Um, I think it's a tricky question. Um, Regarding the funding the migrations of SDK 7, we have engaged with the creators of the most active scenes and like extend the efforts like are you planning to migrate to SDK 7? Can we help somehow? Are you aware there is a DAO team that is making migrations? So we have been trying to be a facilitator of the for the creators of SDK 7 scenes in the migration plan. Uh, think like we are participating in the ecosystem. Like the DAO is already funding a team to do so. Um, yeah, I don't know what more to say about it.
And the next one, I think we kind of covered that, but yeah, well, if you want to mention something else, why isn't the focus on fixing broken features which are highly requested by the community?
I can comment on that one. It is the focus. We have two focuses. One is building some of the features that were missing that are pretty basic, like friends, and ways to discover, like the map that we just did. And the second point of focus is fixing the main bugs, as I was mentioning before. This is personally my primary focus for next year. So it is the focus. I'm sorry if it's not visible enough. Some bugs were fixed. We know we still have a lot to come, but it is my primary focus for next year.
Thank you, Nico. Is there a better way of controlling Creator Hub objects in the SDK API than by first parsing asset scenes main composite?
I can take this one. Yes, Ozzy, there is a better way. I'm going to share a link to the docs that shows you how you can fetch an individual item by name. So from your code, you can, every item on the scene should have a unique name. So from the code, you can fetch a reference to this item and then, do absolutely anything you want with that. Change the components, add components, all of that stuff. So in that page, I just shared in the links, which is it's called Combine with Code. In case you're seeing a recording of this, you can find details about how to do that.
Thank you, Nico. The next one, why should people continue building here when updates break their content regularly?
I would say that this question falls into the same category of the last few. Yeah, we're really sorry that things have been breaking, and with the new client, it was really hard to address everything. But we are really putting effort into fixing those issues. And if you're building something with SK7, it really shouldn't be up to you to fix the scene. It should be up to us to fix the functionality on the client. And we will tackle all of those problems.
How soon will the important portable experiences be available in the new client? Monetization of smart wearables production has not been possible for over a month.
I think it will be early next year. Um, yeah, we believe the improving the chat system more important at the moment than the portable experiences. Uh, but yeah, it's definitely on the list of things to implement, um, and it's not that far away.
All right. The cost per click on in-world events is costing us dollars. Can we finish with them? Let's meet in game. More of a statement, but I don't know, Kim may.
Yeah, I don't know if this is about, I'm assuming this is not ours, obviously, but I think this is other creators doing ads for their events. So that I'm not so sure what's here, but if anyone has clarity, I'm happy to answer it. I just don't understand the specific question here. But Kaze, if you want to go come back to it, and if anyone wants to drop a comment, let me know.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha. More than a million in ads, but not fixing bugs. I think we kind of covered that. That the marketing
Yeah,
campaign will pretty much align with us focusing on actually putting even more effort on fixing bugs. So uh, maybe we can just move to the
yeah,
next.
both
Sorry,
things
Emma.
go together. Yeah, no, just saying that both things go together. Like we're not investing paying $1 million spending the $1 million in a day, like it's a gradual spend, and you need the people to see the funnel and say like, here people are dropping, um, and the better it works, the more money you spend. That's the process.
We will have mana staked in coins such as Ethereum, Solana, or Arena with 30% annual appreciation as a way to add incentives for users and community DAO price achievement airdrops.
From Foundation, we are not planning to do any of that. If the DAO wants to create such a scheme, perfect. But like we from Foundation, we don't have that plan.
Does the foundation have a legal counsel that can assist in understanding legal liabilities for the council members in the new proposed DAO structure?
Yeah, we definitely have a legal department that can assist council members.
Awesome. Does the foundation roadmap take into consideration community requests?
Yeah, sure.
Yep.
Nico, you want to expand on this?
Yeah, we've been using Canny, but I agree with Yemel that maybe it's not the best tool because it's too impersonal, and even though there's some back and forth, it's kind of hard to understand. So we're changing the approach, starting in January, getting together in personal meetings with core creators and prioritizing those issues and those requests first. We still use Canny. We still consider the request in Canny for the prioritization, but there's many things that we need to do at the same time, like fixing all the bugs, doing some core features. So now we're trying to focus on the bugs and issues that the core builders are having right now. So we'll be getting in touch.
Thank you, Nico. I think this one is the same that we checked like a few minutes ago, but this way, this time around it has like 1,000.
Oh, got it.
Yeah,
I-
maybe the summit.
Yeah, I can talk to this one. So, yeah, for in real life events, we were talking about like going to conferences, things like that. Totally agree. Going to those is very expensive. And we don't expect people have to do that, but we know some people want to connect in world. Some people also want to bring those connections outside of the world and go in person. We don't expect everyone wants to do that or can do that. We are trying to do as much in-game meetups as possible for sure. But also the opportunity to meet new people happens at conferences. So that was something that we can continue to do. We will not be spending a lot in terms of like sponsoring these events or anything like that. We are really focusing on the in-game assets. So I hope that helps.
Thank you, Kim. No one asked for a new builder creator hub. The community created severe of different builders and they're all broken, says the new client update. Why? Question mark.
Yeah, we always had a builder tool. We used to have two separated ones, the one in the web for no code and the VS Code extension. We needed to merge them so we can offer the same solution for every type of creator and try to have a better back and forth between the no code part and the code one. And that's independent from the tools being created by the community. Many times those are complementary, and sometimes we try to get the best out of it. So yeah, like it's this the good thing about this is that new solutions can come up and anyone can choose the one that they want to use. Everything is available.
Thank you. The problem is not a few bugs. The problem is years of content is gone and broken and nothing seems to be happening to fix it.
The thing is like this, like the version of the SDK 6 on how it's designed and implemented has many flaws, and like that was like the change to SDK 7 when deciding to build the new client, we needed to decide if to support SDK 6 first or SDK 7 first, or where to put the focus, because it's like two different implementations. So for us was kind of obvious to support fully SDK 7, which is like the version of the SDK that will continue adding new and new features. Investing the time to also run SDK 6, since it's a big endeavor. The protocol squad has like a bridge implementation that lets you like wrap your SDK 6 in, and it will behave on SDK 7, kind of experimental technology. But that's an option to bring like the old content on SDK 6 back. For us, was not set as a priority. Like, we want to have SDK 7 working completely. We want to be feature complete. And the strategy is like you can have the static version of the scene. That's of if you have deployed an SDK 6 scene, you should be able to see an LOD, the static version of the scene, but like the behavior is gone. And that's the status for now. We want to see how many people are continue building. We want to spend money in bringing new content into it. Yeah, and I think we can revisit the decision on the compatibility on SDK 6 farther along the way. But I think the priorities are more on the bugs and SDK 7 working perfectly.
Thanks, Yemel. Next one is SDK 7 scenes are also broken. We do have quite a few open issues at the moment related to SDK 7 scenes. We already mentioned that we'll try to put a bit more effort next year on fixing those, and sadly we don't really have an ETA at the moment, but I'll do my best to keep you posted, and the team will put some effort even more into fixing those. Let me know if anyone wants to jump in on that one. About lower hardware requirements, 6 GB system RAM or virtual RAM? I think we're talking system RAM, yeah?
Yeah, system RAM, and that's our target. Like, it's an ongoing process for the year. We'll see how far we can go.
Awesome. Will the stability of smart wearable be returned in the new client? VTATV smart wearable was the main income source for us and has delayed the CCTV-like use for Decentraland.
I think we already answered that one.
Moving to the next one, when we will be able to connect via HTTP to external servers in workers in the bridge?
I can take this one. So yes, this is one of the issues that we have already identified, and we have it in our queue and our backlog. This is one of the ones that we marked as high priority. So yes, it will be addressed in the near future. The next few weeks, I hope that we can have a good answer for that. Sorry about that inconvenience.
Thank you, Nico. Isn't the Decentraland Connect basically the same as the admin tools?
I can take this one too. So I believe DCL Connect was a tool built by Atmax and Zoo, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. And it addressed a very similar need than our tool that I shared earlier today, what we call the party admin smart item. It allowed people to interact with the scene in a more dynamic way if you're an admin. It used a very different approach though. It used like more custom infrastructure for all of the multiplayer stuff, which had its pros and cons. But we're building ours around the already existing multiplayer architecture that we have. So I believe that is going to be pretty like effective and not add a lot of overhead in terms of performance. But most of all, I mean, although I think these were very cool tools, they also had more of a a learning curve, or they required more friction from the creator. They involved adding custom code. So you had to, like, even if you had, code snippets to paste, you had to open the code and, venture into, territory that for someone who doesn't code is pretty scary. What we're planning to do here will be done entirely in a no-code way with just smart items. Also, as far as I'm aware, correct me if I'm wrong, but I haven't heard really of DCL Connect being used lately. Is that still being maintained? If it is, sorry, I'm not aware of it. And if it still is, I mean, this is, it's still completely possible for someone to keep using it, and it doesn't, there's no single way to do a scene. There's many ways to skin a scene. So you can do it as however you want.
Thanks, Nico. Why did the foundation stop using the studio's platform for outsourcing? I don't think that's the case. But Yemel, Nico, correct me if I'm wrong on that one.
Yeah, I used it like a few months ago for the migration of the tutorial to SDK 7. And yeah, we're maybe we don't use it that often, but it's because there's no need right now. But when there's a need, we use it. It's a really nice tool for everyone to apply in a transparent way to work for a project that we might need from Foundation.
Yeah, looking forward to continue using it throughout next year.
Yeah.
Thank you both. We have few more questions before we wrap it up. The world user is overloaded. It means tourists, gamers, content creators, and even landowners. Can we stop using this word? It just causes too much confusion.
I can take
I
that.
can answer. Oh, go ahead, Nico.
Yeah, we can both. We use maybe user to simplify, but internally and when we need to deep dive in different topics, we use separate terms for different type of users. We understand maybe someone who create. Usually, someone a creator is also like a user, like let's say a player. But many times someone just enters, enjoys the content, socializes, but they are not a builder, not a creator, or a landowner. So we understand there are different profiles and we treat them differently. It's just for me a simplification. But go ahead, Kim, if you wanna add anything on top of this.
Yeah, totally. We have different audience segments, so builders, event planners, new users, etc. So we'll make sure to be clear at it throughout the process. Go ahead, Kaze.
Thank you. Are we going to implement the other space badges?
We don't have plans to implement other space budgets for the moment. Yeah, budgets at the moment are off chain. We believe it was the best way for implementing the system, checking if it's liked by the users is actually used, generates engagement, and we want to continue iterating on those. Um, Having budgets on chain is not in the plans right now, but ultimately I think it makes sense for Decentraland long-term vision to have everything on chain. No, not critical for the plan of having more users.
What are the steps to enroll in Decentraland's 2025 programs for creators and community builders? We are eager to contribute and support these initiatives.
I could jump in and just say we are building them all out now as the strategies and budgets just got approved. So we will post in Discord, on Twitter, etc. Once they are all ready and the applications are live.
Thank you, Kim. And the last one, at least for now, I've built some tools. How can I get paid?
I think it goes with Kim answers. Like, please wait for the manifesto next year, and we will announce how to get enrolled in these programs.
Thank you, Emma. And I think that maybe should be the last question, just being mindful that we're like 30 minutes over time. I've been talking with Aaron today about percentage-based voting power. Do you think that could be funded by the DAO as it was approved by the DAO?
Yeah, I think the DAO should have the autonomy to invest and build the technology they want. Um, yeah, I think it's a DAO matter, not in a foundation's plans right now, but willing to support them along the way.
Amazing. And that was pretty much the last question. In case anyone has any other questions, feel free to send us a message in Discord or just reach out to us. From my side, thanks a lot for the time, guys. Really exciting stuff for next year. I can't wait for those. Passing the ball to Kim, Yemel, Nico, if you want to say something at the end.
Thank you so much for joining. I wish you a super amazing end of the year. Looking forward for an amazing 2025. Let's build it together.
Thanks so much, everyone. Great rest of the end of the year, and we're excited to work closer with you and fix all the current issues. It's my personal mission for 2025.
Yeah, and thanks everyone. Keep an eye on our Twitter. We'll pop an announcement in Discord too, but there's a lot of fun holiday stuff the community has been working on. So if you are looking for things to do on the holiday season, I know there's amazing wintry builds. We will also be dropping a dispenser in Genesis Plaza with some fun gifts for everyone. So just be sure to keep your eyes out starting next week. Have a great holiday season, and we can't wait for next year.